What is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
That's some good rant juice. How's everybody doing? Let's see. First off, I did just check, actually, before I went live, Rosie, for the messages. I grabbed a couple things out of there. So you mentioned about the merch store, the YouTube merch store is not showing the products, the store. I don't know what's going on there. I did check it before last time. I wouldn't let me. I don't know what the hell's going on. So I'll have to check that out after the stream. Thanks for letting me know about that. We got Rosie, we got Izzy, we got Spambot in the chat. Good to see you guys. Right off the bat. Fantastic stuff. All right, as you can see, we've added some new sports selections to the channel for our kind of palate cleanser content for when we want to get off the news for a second, check out the chat, see what you guys are saying. We like to have some informational content on. And I know everybody likes sports, so there you go. And now I have to sneeze. Yeah, I might be having a few sneezes. There might be a few silences. I might have to suddenly mute. Hold on. All right, what are we doing? I don't even know what we're doing. I'm all discombobulated tonight. And here comes another sneeze. There we go. Hopefully that's the last one. All right, what are you guys saying? Where were the where were the YouTube store? Where were the highlights? I don't know. I just took a real quick look before I got started. I totally forgot to look again. Let's see. Let's see who got the first like. Looks like Spambot got the first like. You know what that means? That means double good karma. Double good karma. Good for you, man. Good for you. Nice move. Early bird gets a worm. Everybody gets good karma though when they like. It's just the first like gets extra, gets double good karma. Which I mean, you're not going to turn your nose up at that in these troubled times, are you? No, you'd have to be crazy. Izzy got the second. Izzy got the second. So I'm about saying he's going to listen on the X stream tonight. Well, that's good. Apparently the X stream works really well. So we are streaming on Rumble, YouTube, for as long as YouTube lasts. I mean, we might probably cut it off after about an hour. I don't know. We'll have to see. It's on locals as well and X. So there's all of those options. So if one is acting funny, if one's acting a little bit jinky, you can try the other ones out. Spambot says, sports is okay, but I don't care about sports ball. Well, I don't know. I mean, the fact that they let them drink beer during the game, I think is good. I don't know. That makes this a better sport than other sports. That's why I got this. So I got this for you guys, obviously. All right. So what are we doing tonight? All right. This pisses me off about the store thing. I don't know. YouTube is constantly messing with my channel. So I'll have to check it out again after the stream. They're constantly messing with me though. And so it doesn't surprise me at all. What are we going to talk about? So we'll go through the menu and then we'll come back and deal with each one. MSNBC axes Joy Reid's show as ratings yo-yo. Who they're bringing in proves they've learned nothing. We'll get into that. I put a bunch of stuff together. We could go through some of her greatest hits and then take a look at who's going to be replacing her. And yes, MSNBC has learned absolutely nothing. I don't even know what the point is and what they're doing. Why even bother replacing her? I mean, I've got the ratings. I'll show you the ratings, but it's not going to get improved by anybody else. Certainly not the people they're bringing on. Simone Sanders and Michael Steele. I don't think so. I think it's going to go poor. I mean, what's the point? Just keep the same people, Rachel Maddow, all of them now until the channel just totally implodes. It doesn't make any difference. All right, we're going to take a look at Mark Carney. Here's a video done by the conservatives that Andrew Scheer is in, talking about, and it explains Carney's actual position on the carbon tax. So we'll take a look at this. It's 8 minutes long. I don't know if we'll watch the whole thing, but it's worth taking a look because Carney is talking out of both sides of his mouth. Of course he is. He's running to lead the Liberal Party of Canada. We got some Trump stuff here. He's just absolutely destroying Elizabeth Warren. I think we'll all enjoy that. It's fun. Tom Homan is just, if they like make another Death Wish movie, it's got to be him. You know, in the Charles Bronson? Charles Bronson, yeah, in the Charles Bronson role. He's not messing around. We got some DOGE, of course. We're going to take a look at a little bit of that. We've got some Pierre Poilievre. It's going to be, I think, not too long of a stream tonight, maybe just a couple hours. We've got Ruby Dalla, who was running to lead the Liberal Party, and they kicked her out, and they said, ironically, they said foreign interference was involved. Yeah, they're trying to coronate Mark Carney. They don't want anybody to stand in the way. We'll hear from her. She talked to Rebel News. Let's see. Then we've just got the live stream. So we got some, the final tab. We've got some memes. We've got some leftist dingbats acting silly. Of course, just, I don't know what the hell's going on there. I don't know what the hell is going on here. It doesn't make any sense to me.
What the fuck is it with you?
I don't know. It doesn't make any damn sense, though.
Did you know I'm utterly insane?
Well, we're going to find out. Look at that. That's a baby penguin. I thought this must have been AI or something. It's just too adorable, but apparently it's a real thing. I thought you guys would like that. That's a palate cleanser right there. We've got some Joe Rogan. We've got these two who, I don't know if they're actually trying to fight. When I first saw this, I thought, is it just that they bumped into each other and then their fat just started jiggling and then they just like they couldn't control their limbs and that's just like they're just out of control. It's just you know what I'm saying? Just waves of fat. Just anyway, we'll take a look at that. Before we get there, maybe just quickly. I hate doing this. But it's on the soundboard. So I hate doing that. Let's see. We've got this guy. Where's that thing I always use for this guy? There we go.
The age of men is over. The time of the orc has come.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really in with the whole demon chic thing. I don't know. We've got a bunch of stuff we'll go through. We're gonna look at all this stuff. We got crazy stuff. Again, I don't think it'll be too. Oh, we got some Norman there. We got some comedy. We got lots. We'll get through all of this. I'm hoping we'll have the whole thing wrapped up in a couple hours, maybe even before the glitch happens. I don't know. But before we do, let's get to the chat quickly, see what you guys are saying. And let's see. Trobot says, sports ball equals anything on TV. Attending a live show is great. Let's see. Well, yeah, it's fun. It's more fun that way, I guess. Let's see. Izzy says, I'm allergic to BS. It gives me sneezing fits. Uh-oh. Let's see. Trobot says, good thing I'm listening on X. Rumble is lagging worse than usual. It doesn't seem to be everybody. It almost seems to be like a regional thing or something. I don't know what's going on with that. Let's see. All right. Ooh, what the fuck is that? You're not this you're talking about. You're talking about something terrible that we saw that's coming up later in the show. All right. Well, let's just get to it. Shall we? MSNBC X's Joy Reid show is ratings yo-yo. Who they're bringing in proves they've learned nothing. So Reid is expected to leave the network entirely. What will she do? I guess she could be like some, HR department could hire her to do like DEI for it or something. It's got to be something race hustling related. Because I don't think she has anything else. I mean, she's been on MSNBC just to be a race hustler, just to be a divisive racist ideologue. So MSNBC is axing far left host Joy Reid's 7 p.m. show, The Readout, as ratings flip-flop in the wake of President Trump's second inauguration. But if the batters on deck to take Reid's place are any indication, the network has no interest in embracing an ideological shift, which is why I just wonder, what's the point? They're not going to do any better. I mean, woke is on the way down. Race hustling is, on the way down. Race communism is on the way out. It says that Reid's final episode is set to air in the last week of February. And other reports indicate that Reid, much like former CNN anchor Jim Acosta, plans to leave the network entirely. Alex Wagner, who hosts weeknights at 9 p.m., except for the Mondays hosted by longtime network star Rachel Maddow, is also out. So Alex Wagner is also out. Again, what's the point in even replacing them? I mean, it's just going to be some other woke race Marxism robot. So what difference does it make? It's not going to improve the rate. The problem is not the personalities. The problem is the ideology of the channel now. It's far left. It's just far left radicalism, far left radical socialism at this point. I think half of them are probably just straight up communists at this point, race communists. So what's the point? Well, let's take a look anyway. What do we got here? Let's take a look at the ratings. All right. Evening cable news ratings, Wednesday, February 19th. So let's take a look at a one night snapshot here. So maybe we'll make this a little bit smaller. Okay, so this is the coveted 25 to 54 demographic. So this is who the advertisers want. So how does cable news survive? Well, advertisers pay for the audience, pay to have access to the audience to try and trick them into buying their garbage, most of it. It's mostly actually just pharmaceutical companies. So what do we got going on here? So let's find, okay, so 7 p.m. slot, Ingram, 386,000 in that. That's not the entire audience. That's just the key demo. Something called Out Front on CNN. I haven't even heard of that. 105,000. Joy Reid, 98,000. When you think about that, for that most important demographic, 98,000 is the best that she can do for a national show. That is poor. That's not good. I mean, I know that, there's, cord cutting. Cable news is being increasingly squeezed out from the new media landscape. But that's very poor. I mean, compared to, look at Fox News, Ingram, 386,000. That's almost 4 times what she's getting in that time slot. That's very bad. There are many, many independent content creators who get more viewers, who get more people in that demo than Joy Reid does. And they don't have a giant, $1 billion or, I don't know, $500 million. I don't know. What is MSNBC worth? Probably worth $1 billion. They don't have a $1 billion company behind them. Let's take a look at all viewers. So all viewers, total viewers. Let's see. Reid, 922,000. Ingram, 3.13 million. Something called Out Front. Again, I don't know what it is, but it's CNN, 577,000. So when you take a look, they beat CNN with total viewers. They don't get close to Fox, but they beat CNN in total viewers. But when you look at the important demo, the best demo that they want, 25 to 54, they actually are about the same or slightly under. In fact, except for Rachel Maddow, it looks like they're less on every single show. And that's a big deal because that's money, right? Like Maddow, 190,000. Hannity still has 2.5 times more than her. And the rest of them, look at this. Jesse Waters, all in on MSNBC. That's almost 1/6 of the audience. You can see. I mean, it's the race and gender communism thing is on its way out. It's losing its popularity. People have realized that it's awful, actually, that people like Joy Reid are moral monsters. They're sick of hearing from them. They're sick of hearing their racist caterwauling. So, yeah, MSNBC has a problem, certainly in the key demo, but, you can see as well. I mean, here's Brett Baer gets more than 3 times what Melber gets. The 5 gets 4 times what Chris Wallace gets. Waters gets, more than 4. This is in total viewers here. More than 4 times what All In gets. Again, for CNN, it's even worse. I mean, 650,000 total viewers. See, at 11 p.m., who somebody called Coates. I don't know who that is. 346,000. That's not impressive. Not impressive for a national news network. Not very good. So there's a problem. And the other thing this means when you see the total viewers, when you see they have such a small share, Reid gets 98,000 in the key demo on that one night, but I think this is pretty representative. But then she gets 10 times as many, not in that demo, which means older, which means her audience is a very old. It's old for all of them, but this is particularly bad. So, she's got an audience she had an audience that is kind of, is not going to be around that much longer anyway. All right. So let's get to some of Joy Reid here. Let's see. Libs of TikTok. Joy Reid is mad that Republicans want to fight racist discrimination against white people. Joy Reid is a racist. So let's just take a look at some of her greatest hits here.
Republicans like Vance and Trump advisor Stephen Miller, who is tangentially connected to Project 2025, have made it a point to block these disbursements. In Project 2025, folks like Miller, Vance, and Trump want to nationalize their long-term goal of putting a stop to what they call anti-white racism, which is just another way of saying we're sick of America being held accountable for actual racism.
And what she just said is anti-white racism. I mean, her show should just be called anti-white racism, or maybe just race hustle. I don't know, something like that. But that's, I mean, these people have never heard of irony, ever. And apparently they don't own mirrors either. Let's continue.
Project 2025, the Department of Justice would play the central role in executing their national policy of reversing racial progress. They would force the DOJ's Civil Rights Division, which is responsible for enforcing federal statutes that prohibit discrimination based on race, color, or religion, or sex, disability, or national origin, to refocus, moving away from what they call affirmative discrimination and ensure, quote, lawfulness, which essentially means protecting the people who've had access and opportunity all along. Republicans like Vance and Trump.
All right. So what did she say here? Hold on one second.
Of reversing racial progress. They would force the DOJ's Civil Rights Division, which is responsible for enforcing federal statutes that prohibit discrimination based on race, color, or religion, or sex, disability, or national origin, to refocus.
So she's mad that the people whose job it is to stop discrimination based on like race, gender, all of that. She's mad that they're being told to stop discrimination based on these people aren't even coherent. I mean, here's the thing. You can hardly blame them. Why even bother being coherent? Why even bother making sense? Her audience doesn't give a shit, right? They just want to be told what to think. She knows what they want, so she just gives it to, she knows they're not going to think about it. She knows they're not going to think about what she's saying. They're just going to nod and they're just going to stew and be angry, right? And I don't know, maybe film themselves shaving their head to fight fascism or something. Let's move on to the next one. Well, let's see. This guy here says, JV the Great says, I'm starting to believe that Joy Reid is a CIA agent paid to constantly sow division and hatred within the country. Well, why would he say that? Let's take a look.
They can drive out the brown people and the black and Asian people, or just sink them into the same apartheid they've created in Texas. And they will.
So did you get that? Texas is an apartheid state, according to Joy Reid. Let's continue.
Control enough electoral votes if they can. They can drive out the brown people and the black and Asian people, or just sink them into the same apartheid they've created in Texas. And they will control.
Drive out the brown people, sink them into the apartheid that they have in Texas. So when you're talking to a leftist and they seem totally insane and delusional and like they're living in an alternate universe, this is why, right? This is why. This is what they're eating. This is what they're being fed. This is the lens through which they see the world. People like Joy Reid provide this lunatic lens to distort reality so that it fits into the race Marxism ideology. That's it. The race Marxist, the race and gender communist viewpoint. So when you see them and they seem totally unreasonable and delusional, this is why. This is what they get. And she knows they're not going to question it. This is what they want to hear. Texas is an apartheid state. Let's see. How about this one from Josh Dunlap? Joy Reid racistly calls a white person mayonnaise sandwich on Wonder Bread. She does this all the time. She talks about racism all the time, and I think she knows a lot about it.
Got to be honest and keep it real. This is not the pick that I expected that she would.
Don't forget, she says, let's be honest and keep it real. Don't forget that. She's keeping it real here. Real from Joy Reid's standpoint.
Would make. It did come down to the final three, as we understand it. And I thought she would go astronaut. Keeping it real. He, to me, would have been the safest, most conventionally safe pick. White, super white, mayonnaise sandwich on Wonder Bread, right? From a border state, he could have made a strong argument for
Wonder Bread. Mayonnaise Wonder Bread. Yeah. There are things you could say that would get you absolutely kicked off of the internet forever. Certainly, you would not have your own show on a cable news channel if you were to use a stereotype about any other group of people. But this is the suicidal strategy of MSNBC with Joy Reid. Let's see. Liz Churchill says racist Joy Reid is canceled. Let's see what she's saying here. I bet you it's going to be really anti-racist.
What really stands out about white anti-vaxxers in particular is that they act like their freedom has been taken.
Well, it was.
What really stands out about white anti
It was. That was the whole point. Right? White. And listen to how she says it too, right?
What really stands out about white anti-vaxxers in particular is that they act like
white anti-vaxxers. Well, what about the non-white anti-vaxxers? Because there was lots and lots of them. Of course, she doesn't want to talk about that. I guess maybe they had internalized white supremacy or something. Let's see. Oh, this is funny. This is a parody account. Hilaria Bryden, Esquire. This morning, we found our 8-year-old son Jasper watching his favorite Joy Reid recordings. He's sobbing uncontrollably and refuses to go to brunch with us. Trump did this. That's good. Let's see. Libs of TikTok. Joy Reid has been fired. Turns out calling your political opponents racist Nazis every night for an hour doesn't get viewers. All right. Well, it certainly doesn't get the viewers your advertisers want.
to begin our final sprint, having arrived at that point in the election season where basically we on this side of the TV screen have said all we can. We've laid out the stakes in this crucial election where one side stands for freedom while the other meets
the Republicans, right? Republicans stand for freedom. The Republicans do. The ones who are like for free speech, they stand for freedom, right?
It's the textbook definition of fascism.
So you guys, and you're the textbook definition of fascism, right? The ones, the people, the party of mandates and censorship and government censorship. So you're the fascists, right?
Namely, a far-right dictatorial regime like Hitler's Germany or Franco's Spain or Mussolini's Italy, but also white-ruled South Africa before Mandela and the black majority took control, or Vladimir Putin's Russia, Viktor Orban's Hungary, or Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela today, that suppresses the rights of women and minorities, uses the military to execute the whims of a strongman dictator, and controls and suppresses the press, education, the arts, rewrites history.
It's so weird, right? It's so weird. Like, it's so strange. I mean, as we're seeing now, Trump is not trying to start more wars. He's trying to end them. Like suppressing the press. That was the Biden administration, right? They were the ones who were literally, according to Mark Zuckerberg, screaming at Facebook employees to censor things they didn't like. It's just, what a weird, does she know? Does she know that she's a liar, that she's a propagandist, or does she really believe it? Has she actually been infected with the woke mind virus? Is she actually parasitized, or is it really it's just about money? I don't know.
To suit a favored and dominant racial class and foments extravagant corruption in order to enrich the dictator and his friends.
So bizarre. Let's see. Who was it again that was being politically persecuted for 4 years? Who was that? Who was doing that? Who was doing that? That was Biden. That was the guy that you liked, wasn't it? Wasn't that Biden? The ridiculous, constant lawsuits, not only against Trump, Musk as well. Let's see. Musk was sued by the Biden administration because he didn't hire non-citizens after he was told it was illegal to hire non-citizens because of the sensitive nature of SpaceX, for instance. Like, it's so strange talking about fascism. Fascism, we got a glimpse of it. Everybody got a glimpse of the fascism, right? But it's not the fascism she's talking about. It's so strange. I mean, on the first day, Trump signed an executive order banning the government from interfering with free speech, the citizens' free speech. No fascist would do that, obviously, because they'd be fascists and they'd want to censor. They wouldn't want openness. They wouldn't want transparency. They wouldn't want something like a DOGE so people could see what was happening with their own government. I mean, that's kind of like, you know, transparency isn't really historically like a hallmark of fascist regimes, nor is free speech. So strange. I mean, the more you watch, you just start to think, just evil, just an evil person. So who's she being replaced with? And when you see who it is, you just wonder why bother. Just leave Joy Reid it. I mean, it's not going to get any better. Let's see. So Michael Steele is one. It's going to be who are they? It's Simone Sanders, Alicia Menendez, and Michael Steele is who's going to be replacing her. And I get why bother. This is not going to improve the ratings.
So let's start with last night in the Band-Aid. That's fine. Where I am at this point is it's been 3 days going on 4 since this horrific event occurred. A person lost their life, 2 have been severely injured, and yet we've not received a medical report from the hospital, nor have we received a medical report from the campaign or from the Trump organization about the extent of the damage to his ear. If he was shot by a high caliber bullet, there should probably be very little ear there. And so we'd like to know that. Is there cosmetic surgery involved? What is the prognosis for recovery? Were there stitches? What is the extent and nature of the damage?
Isn't that the sort of thing that somebody like him would normally call a conspiracy theory?
To his ear. Was it caused by a bullet, as opposed to, as some reports from those on the scene, other reporters, saying that it was actually shards of glass from the teleprompter itself, not the bullet. So there are.
And as it turned out, it was exactly what it looked like. The most obvious thing. So is he going to be better than Joy Reid? Well, I don't know. Has he got anything else to say? Let's see. What else has he got? Do I have something else from him? Here I think we've got something here. There's Michael Steele. Let's take a look.
What do you tell the parents of those people, those young girls who were killed? This is absurdity. The preponderance of these people, Michael, are male.
But what is the difference between an illegal immigrant who unfortunately engages in that activity?
And we don't like that. I want to be clear. We don't use the term illegal. So
we don't,
undocumented individuals.
That's sweet. They're illegal aliens. What do you tell the parents of the
undocumented? They don't use illegal. Well, illegal would be accurately describing reality. So they're obviously not going to do that, right? Again, I'm not seeing the improvement here. What do we have here? So here's Simone Sanders. She's going to be joining in as well. Let's see.
Hey, Simone. Where are you going? Hey, guys. What's up? We have a meeting with some tribal leaders in the Vice President's ceremonial office, and I need some more lemonade.
All right. And what do you do here at the White House?
I have the pleasure of serving as a senior advisor and chief spokesperson for Vice President Kamala Harris.
What got you interested in politics in the first place?
Yeah, I worked for Kamala Harris, who's a loser. By the way, she lost very badly, very badly. I think the worst loss, actually, in presidential history. That's what everybody tells me. How about Michael Steele here again? Let's see. Does he do any better here? Let's take a look.
What would you have us do?
I would actually, you know what? I'd just like you to show that you give a damn, that you got a little emotion about the fact that people are losing their jobs indiscriminately, that this individual sitting down the 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue has given absolute power to one man who brings his son into the Oval Office.
So, for one thing, Elon doesn't have absolute power. DOGE can make recommendations. So it's the agencies themselves that are making the cuts. The president has some power to do so as well. but he does not have absolute power. That's just a lie. But I mean, again, he's taking over for Joy Reid. So there you go.
Whose son says to him, "You're not the president. You shouldn't be in that chair." Now, where did he get that from? He got it from his daddy, because that's what his daddy thinks is the man who brought him into the Oval Office. So I just like to see somebody.
Well, there you go. Like a 3-year-old said something. So that's it. Maybe it was Putin who told him that. I don't know.
Wake the hell up and get excited about the fact that your country is under assault. They're not at the gate anymore. They're in your bedrooms. They're in your living rooms. They're in your businesses. They got your data, dumbass. They got all your stuff. Elon Musk has his tentacles in everything.
Because the government didn't have your data before. That's the thing. They didn't have, like the IRS had nothing on, had no idea what was going on with you before Elon Musk for some reason. Anyway, let's continue.
Thing you're doing, not just off of X, but now he's in the Treasury Department. He's in the Labor Department. He's in the Department of Homeland Security. And nobody seems to give a damn.
Why is it so terrifying to Michael Steele, former Republican, no longer? Why is it so terrifying for him for government agencies to be audited and for there to be transparency so that taxpayers can see what their money is being spent on? Why do they find it so terrifying? He seems genuinely upset. Like, it doesn't look like he's acting there. Maybe he is. I mean, I'm sure they're paying him a lot on MSNBC, right? But he seems genuinely upset about it. So is he actually parasitized by the mind virus, by the idea pathogen, or is he acting? I don't know. You can't really tell. I mean, that's really the only kind of interesting part of like MSNBC is trying to figure out, are they lying or do they really believe it? It's like a little bit of a game, really, that I can play. But again, so him and Sanders, hold on, and her are going to be, and another one, Menendez, are going to be taking over for her, for this person. And how much is it really going to change anything?
I think because you have a green card and came through the right way, if you're brown, you may not stick around. I don't think they care whether you have a green card or not. They're pulling people out and taking people out of this country, whether you like it or not, or whether you voted for them or not. Surprise. Yeah.
So according to Joy Reid, it doesn't matter if you're illegal. It's just brown people, and you're all going to get deported somewhere. Based on what? Based on nothing, of course. Based on the fact that she's just a lunatic. She should just call her show should have just been called White People Are Evil. Right? Just had it right there. Right? So it's just a show about that. Her ranting about that. Her weird, delusional, apocalyptic fantasies.
I think Black women are now on the Save Black Women, Prioritize Black Men, and prioritize Black communities, Black businesses, and that, the Black spaces, but Save America, Save the Democratic Party. Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
Know someone voted that way. Do you recommend, just from a psychological standpoint, being around them? We got the holidays coming up.
So I love that you asked this question because, there is a push, I think just a societal norm that if somebody is your family, that they are entitled to your time. And I think the answer is absolutely not. So if you are going into a situation where you have family members, where you have close friends who have voted in ways that are against you, like what?
And they're against you because Joy Reid told you so. That's cult behavior. That's like a cult strategy. Isolate people in the cult from their friends, their family, people who might have an antidote to the idea pathogen that they're suffering with, they've been infected with, right? That's what cult leaders do. That's what these. How do you know that these are race communists? Right? How do you know that? How do you know this is all actually just a weird race communism cult? Because they act exactly like that. It's the same strategies. Isolate. I mean, I guess from Joy Reid's point of view, and I guess her point, I think she's a professor. Isolate those people you depend on for money from their friends and families and anybody who could talk sense to them. right? Anybody who might have an idea that might be an antidote to the idea pathogen that you've infected them with. I mean, it's very transparent, as well as just being just morally totally reprehensible and psychopathic. Let's see, what's this one here? What do we got here?
Republicans like Vance and Trump advisor Stephen Miller.
Oh, no, we saw this one already. What about this one? No, that's nothing. That's just her looking like a crazy race hustling race communist. All right. Yeah, so you have to ask yourself, what's the point? What's the point of it? Why? I mean, that's not going to bring more people in. Here's that 25 to 54 demo again. Reid was getting only 98,000 people for an hour. For an hour on national television. This replacing her with Michael Steele and Simone Sanders and some other identity communist is not going to improve that. This is the demo that they need. They really need to make money, right? How is that going to improve it? You know, what MSNBC really would need would be an ideological shift, a serious one, away from this thing, which is being broken, right? So the old magic spell where, you know, if anybody challenges you, they're an ist, they're an ism, they're a phobe, whatever, blah, 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 blah. That spell is broken. It doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work anymore. And people are seeing the fruits of wokeism, right? Of their cult ideology, and they don't like it. It turns out that people don't like open borders. Really anywhere in the West. In any country, people don't like open borders. I mean, really, how many, the vast majority of countries in the world don't have the kind of border policies like you have in Europe and in the United States and that we've had in Canada. All right. So open borders, not popular, right? Not deporting people who are in your country illegally and committing crimes, not popular. Nobody likes that, right? People don't like the telling 5-year-olds that they might be born in the wrong body, chemically castrating teenagers, preventing young people with puberty blockers from growing into healthy adult bodies before they know what it's like to inhabit a healthy adult body. Not popular. People are actually seeing what's been happening while they've been asleep, while they haven't been paying attention. Not popular. So it's on the way out. It absolutely is. They're going to fight it. Of course, they're not going to stop fighting it. Their cult members won't, right? But it's on the way out. So what is she going to do? Well, I'm guessing she'll start a podcast. I'm guessing she'll start a podcast that not very many people will see it. And she'll get bitter like Don Lemon, who desperately, you know, these are people that can't function on their own. They need to have that corporate logo behind them. They need that support because they're just simply not talented enough to do it on their own. She needs somebody to provide her with an audience. She's not bringing in an audience. No, she needs it already provided to her. And then just whoever wants to hang around will hang around, right? It's not that many, as you can see from her ratings. So there you have it, folks. There's one of the worst people in network news is now gone. MSNBC seems to have learned nothing. And MSNBC continues its downward spiral. Let's see, following closely behind CNN. All right, what are you guys talking about? All right, hold on. Let's go to, there we go. Actually, I think I have another football one here. There we go. This is the only football I watch now, by the way. I won't watch a sport now unless they're allowed to drink beer on the sidelines. Absolutely not. All right, let's go through the chat here. Let's see. Rosie says, finally got to hear Grok versus Trudeau from Friday. Best one yet. Sci-fi. It was. I was quite proud of that one, especially since considering that I came up with it in about 30 seconds before the stream started. That was a good one. Thank you, Rosie. Let's see. As in them says, good evening, Warriors. Good evening to you. Let's see. As in them says, BlackRock and Vanguard dollars support them. I would assume so. Yeah. Let's see. Rosie says, let's stop discriminating here and discriminate there. Keep moving along. Sheep, nothing to see. Yeah. The people that are still watching MSNBC are just, those are the people that you can't reason with. You know, they want that. They want lunacy. They want to believe the worst. And yeah, I think a large portion of them are actual literal communists. Rosie says, I think it's about drowning out brainless, apathetic excuses and replacing it with brightness and energy. I think you're 100% correct, right? It's about, I mean, they're the, you know, the left, wherever, in whatever country you're in now, whatever the left, Liberal Party or NDP in Canada, or the Democrats or Labour in UK, they're the parties of no fun now. They're like the neo-Victorians, right? Like you're not allowed to disagree with them. They are, they wield political correctness as a weapon, right? It's why left-wing comedy, SNL, for instance, is not funny anymore. They have this narrow bandwidth of what they're allowed to make fun of, right? And they must all be terrified because there may be something they missed where somebody is going to be offended, and then all of a sudden a bunch of left-wing blogs or something will condemn them, and one of them will get canceled. Not fun. That's not fun. Not being allowed to ever make a mistake or misspeak. Not fun. So no, I mean, that's it. I mean, well, the Trump dance was a perfect. You know what's the perfect example of that? Remember when on the election night stream and Trump took Pennsylvania and we knew he won the election? Like this. There's a reason that worked because it's just fun. There's a reason why Space Barbarian Trump is the thing on this channel, because people like it because it's fun. It's fun. It's not dour. It's not you have to hate yourself. It's fun. It's just silly. You're allowed to be silly again. You're allowed to use naughty words again. Can you imagine that? Oh, can't have the music on. There we go. There we go. Sports. Let's see. As in them says, race was removed when it makes no money. They, the powers that be, want your money regardless of your color. Well, that's true, but they don't act like it, weirdly. Let's see. Let's see. Rosie says, okay, figured it out. She has spent every moment of her life rebelling against the name she was given against her will. Now she has won the war. She has won the war. I don't know. I think she just likes money. I think she is genuinely racist and hates money. And loves money. I think she's genuinely racist and loves money. And I think she found a way. For people like Joy Reid, like it must have just been this amazing moment when she realized, wait a second, I could get on national TV and be a totally racist commie, and they'll pay me like whatever they're paying her, a few $1 million a year, I'm sure. I can actually do that. Wow. I can be a horrible moral monster and then accuse people of being that based purely on their skin color, even though I am the appalling racist moral monster. She must have been, it's astonishing for her. She must have been so incredibly happy. Let's see. Let's see. Them says there's a misconception about transparency in total because the people, when given transparency and reality and truth, look right through it and not into it, thereby failing the transparency itself. I don't know. I mean, I think I think what's in the transparency now, it's so obvious that I don't think it's really confusing for people or difficult. I think it's pretty hard to miss. Let's see. Rosie is suggesting that you shop at Radio Baloney merch. 100%. 100% do that. There's a if you're watching on Rumble, there's a shop tab on the page, on the YouTube page, or sorry, on the Rumble page, where you can buy a couple of t-shirts. In fact, it's got the Carney gets nothing, the Carney gets nothing shirt, which you'll really love. And apparently there's some trouble finding the shop on the YouTube. I don't know. Maybe somebody could look and tell me if they can find it. Let's see. Rumbum says, how you doing, Rumbum? The left love changing definitions and reality. Yep. Haven't you heard now? It was that pesky free speech that caused Nazis. Yeah. Was that, who was that? Was that?
I don't really care, Margaret.
I believe it was Margaret Brennan. Who made that insane suggestion to Marco Rubio that it was in fact free speech that caused the Holocaust, apparently. I mean, just total lunacy. Let's see. Karin Karanka asked, hold on, let's move on. How is that not hate speech? Talking about the Joy Reid stuff? Yeah. Well, it is. It just is. Right? So, I mean, that's the thing. That's why people stopped watching her. Let's see. All right, I'm going to skip to the end here really quickly because we've got to move on. Let's see, we're almost an hour in already. Jeez. All right. Rumbum says Joy had such a hardcore case of TDS that she developed Stockholm syndrome and started doing her hair like him. Well, that's true. She did get a Trump, kind of a very similar, a kind of a Trump haircut. I don't know. For somebody who hates white people so much, I mean, getting a, like, I don't know, was that a blonde wig she was wearing? I think it was probably a wig. All right, let's move on. Let's get on to the next thing. All right. Let's see. Actually, let's take a look at. All right. You know what? I think I'm going to cut off the YouTube portion of it now because we're almost an hour in, and it looks like. So, just so you know, looks like YouTube has now decided to the algorithm has decided to start choking off my channel again. So, which always happens. It'll go up for a few months and then just for no reason, it just drop. The views just drop. And there's nothing I can do, change things, nothing seems to matter. It's all totally artificial. Everything on YouTube is super artificial. Completely artificial. It's just what they allow, is it. But in any case, YouTube, anybody watching on YouTube right now, please come join us on Rumble. We'll keep going. We're going to be going there for at least another hour or so. So join us over there, and if not, I'll see you on Tuesday.